Greetings everyone, and this is Connor from DagoraC, and in this video we're asking, where will the Elder Scrolls 6 be set? Okay, so this has been a mini-series that I've been doing for the last 8 weeks or so, and I've covered all of the provinces in Tamriel except Skyrim and Cyrodiil, which I said at the beginning, which I'll be leaving out. So if you want to check out the other videos, you can click on the playlist annotation on the screen right now, and then you'll see all the videos there. Okay, so in this video we're talking about which setting I think is going to be, which location I think is going to be the most likely setting, and which location I would actually want the game to be set. So I've kind of talked about the reasons and how the game could be set there and what they could do there in each of the videos, but now this is kind of like the overall wrap-up video with the mini-series and the final one that I'll be doing on the location for the time being. We'll go straight into it. Okay, so I think we'll start with what the location that I want it to be as, and for me, I would love the game to be set in both Valenwood and elsewhere as a twin province. The reason being because Valenwood is a very different setting to what we've experienced so far, especially when it comes to Skyrim and Morrowind. Cyrodiil, yes, it had forests, but nothing compared to the jungles of Valenwood. And, you know, with all the wildlife there and all the interesting lore with the Green Pact and the Wood Elves, and plus the Wood Elves being my favourite ways, I'm really, hoping, really, that the game will be set partly in Valenwood or wholly in Valenwood, but as long as Valenwood is featured, I would be really happy because there's a lot there that I really want to experience, I really want to explore around there. And if it is set in Valenwood, I would love it to be this kind of, have a climbing system or something like that, and really read about the lore of the Wood Elves, because they seem like one of the races really that could kind of stand on their own. If they want to, keep Valenwood to themselves, I feel like they could do it. And the things that they do by choice. And they've got a very interesting lore around them compared to some of the other races. And I think, as a people, I really want to, speak to them and see what they're about, really, and see the culture of them in their hometown. Because we've seen them out of their own setting, and they speak of Valenwood and speak of their ways, and it's very kind of outlandish compared to what we're used to. And that's really what kind of excites me. And twinning it with elsewhere for me would make perfect sense, as combining this kind of Armory Dominion and the story of the Anaquina and the Palatine they've got in elsewhere at the minute like that. I think they could easily be combined in this one mammoth war story that they could do there and everything. And plus, with Valenwood and elsewhere being kind of similar size to Skyrim, if you compare them both, I don't think it's kind of out of the question. And plus, quite a lot of Valenwood is still forest, but they've also got mountains and desert as well, so there's a range of landscapes they're going to have there, which I would really love to see. I'd really love to kind of go around and explore these different areas, which would be a lot of fun. And for me, that's kind of my ideal Elder Scrolls setting, to be honest, just to get something really different than what we've experienced with Skyrim. And with Valenwood being described as Tamriel's garden, it's got to be pretty damn beautiful, and some of the vistas will be great, and hopefully we'll be able to climb the trees and see all the Khajiit lore and everything like that, and all the different types of Khajiit in elsewhere. There's a lot that can be done in both of these provinces, and combining the two together would make just the perfect Elder Scrolls setting for me. Okay, another likely setting is Argonia and Morrowind, and this is what I think the Elder Scrolls 7 is going to be set, because I said in the Argonia in the Black Marsh and the Morrowind video that I believe that the game is going to be set here after they've dealt with the Empire and Armory Dominion storyline, and I think that's going to be wrapped up in the next game. And the reason for that being is because the Argonians are getting stronger and they're starting to invade Morrowind, so seeing that on both ends would be good. You're not going to be able to fully explore all of Black Marsh due to lore reasons, and plus the mainland of Morrowind has not been fully explored. Valenfell's been really changed since we've last been there, so definitely there's a lot to do in Morrowind, a lot different, a lot of references and nostalgia for the previous game, and plus when the next one comes, that's probably going to be about 20 years since Morrowind, so that's a long time. So I don't think, they're going to be really thinking about the time difference between the two games, because, it's been that long. And even if it was set in Argon, they could use the mainland Morrowind as an expansion. That would be great, just to kind of experience the two on them, two together, and have this Argonian invasion, which they're starting to do at the time of Skyrim, and maybe finish off in the Elder Scrolls 7. If I'm going to say which continent I think is the most likely to be set, which province I think is the most likely to be set, I would have to say Hammerfell. The reason being, that trademark of Redguard has got me thinking, which happened a few years ago, which they did the same thing with Oblivion and Skyrim. I believe that, this is going to be where it's set. The reason being because there's a lot that could do there. It's the only one that's not got under Empire or Armory Dominion control, so there's definitely continue that story there. They've got a lot of Dwemer stuff there, so they could do a Dwemer story. If it's going to be set there, I think this is likely where we'll find out what happened to the Dwemer. Also in Hammerfell, it's very different as well. You got the sand dunes, you got the arcade desert, you got the forests on the coastline, you got the red guards, which we don't really know about a huge amount. I think Hammerfell is a very ideal location and very, very decent place to set the game, and something where I'd be pretty damn excited to play through. Something very different to Skyrim and Oblivion, and really Morrowind as well. And yes, we have experienced some of Daggerfall in some of Hammerfell in Daggerfall, but the game was procedurally generated, so we haven't really fully experienced it. And doing what Bethesda do in this last 3 games that they've done in the Elder Scrolls series, I'd love them to do that in Hammerfell, really explore it. And I think the game is very likely to be set there. I think this is where people should be looking at and thinking, yep, the game's going to be here. I also think that the chance of, finding out different, mythic legends from the past is very likely to happen in Hammerfell. As key events have happened there before, with Type Scepter using the dragon on them and everything. I think a lot of stuff could happen here, really big in the size of, comparing to Oblivion, which is, the Oblivion Crisis. I think, yes, that's kind of, something big is going to happen. I understand that's guaranteed for an Elder Scrolls game, but I think there's going to be something big Dwemer related if that game is set in Hammerfell. And plus, I get a lot of people in the comments saying if Hammerfell's there, they might as well add on High Rock. And the theory that I have on High Rock, with it being kind of about a third of the size of Hammerfell, I think High Rock will be an expansion. And the reason for that being is because there's definitely a lot they can do there. And with the Bethesda game developers, they generally, make the games on the size of, what they actually like, kind of in comparison. And they could definitely do that and have High Rock as an expansion. As Dragonborn was, their biggest expansion, with that one, Dawnguard, put them two together, that's probably not far off the size of High Rock. And to be honest, I'd be happy with just having the one expansion being in High Rock, to be honest with you. I don't know what people think on that, but having it as another province would be great, or explore areas of High Rock, because, they're very close, very tight-knit, the Bretons and the Red Guards. Or maybe even having a little Sinium as an expansion, that would definitely be cool. See the Orc culture and everything. There's definitely a lot that could be done within, expansion stuff with Hammerfell, adding different provinces and everything. And, there's a hell of a lot they could do by choice with Hammerfell, and a lot of hidden cities underground and everything. As a whole, the world is very, very exciting to explore and very different than what we've seen, and that kind of what gets me excited. I'd be okay with the game to be set in Hammerfell. I would definitely not object against it, and even though it's not as exciting to me as Valenwood and elsewhere, it's definitely an exciting place to set the game. Okay, so I thought I'd end the video by adding a couple of points on comments that I've received on videos, on Twitter, and messages that I've got to myself on Twitter, and, on Reddit and things like that, and the Elder Scrolls Wiki. And a lot of people are saying that, they think the next game is going to be set in the whole of Tamriel. And personally, I don't think this is the case, and I really do not want this to be the case. The main reason I don't think this is going to be the case is because I don't think the technical reasoning is there to them to be able to set a game and make it as dense and as good as they do, with a single province. They definitely could make a world as big as that, we know about that and everything, as, other games have. But, it's going to be a really, really big map. But at the same time, bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. With the limited resources that Bethesda have now, yes, they've expanded the team, but there's only 140 people. And to put that in comparison to a game like The Witcher 3, which has been credited on their stature of the small team, they've got about 250 at CD Projekt Red. So Bethesda is about half that size, and as a team, they're very skilled, they've been together a long time, but they're not great in numbers. So being able to kind of put out this high quality work, huge high quality work, and plus work on these other games they've got at the same time, and make this Elder Scrolls 6 the biggest one ever and have all of the provinces in there, it is a test fan's wet dream, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be able to be done. If it was done, it's definitely not going to be as good if they did 1 or 2 provinces. The reason for that being because everything's going to be more spread out, and the stuff that I think I love and probably most of the audience loves is the little stuff in the Elder Scrolls, running out into a cave and finding a book and reading about Red Eagle, and then going over to his tomb and killing the ghost and taking his epic sword. Little stuff like that, or little organic quests that happen in the game is my favourite part of the game, and favourite part of the series, to be honest. It's kind of what made me really enjoy the series, and I think we'll get a lot less of that if the game is so much bigger than what it actually is. And that happened in the Elder Scrolls Online, you know, and that's an MMO that doesn't feature the whole of Tamriel. It features areas from each province in Tamriel, and that has nowhere near that. And you could argue, yes, it's an MMO, but we was promised that stuff. And, you know, saying it's possible, and they're not being able to fully achieve it because the game is so big, and with everything more spread out, you're going to get a lot of open areas where it's cardboard cut out scenery, where there's nothing really to do there, which, you know, is a shame. And I think, for me, that's the biggest reason why I wouldn't want the game to be set there. And the very last thing I wanted to say is about the game being set in Akavir, or Yukunda, or Almeris, or any of the other continents in Tamriel, or even ones that haven't been explored yet. And the reason I wouldn't want the game to be set there is, especially Akavir, which is the most demanded one because it's got this mystery around it, is exactly that. I mean, I love the mystery that's surrounded by things like the Dwemer and Akavir in the Elder Scrolls series, and I would really love, you know, that to be there a bit more and wrap up all these storylines that they've got going on in Tamriel, like the Imperial quest line and everything like that, and even stuff with the dragons that hasn't been completely finished off. You know, they're still there and everything. You know, there maybe could be resurgence of them and the whole Daedra princes that they've got in Tamriel, which could be carried over to other continents. But with Tamriel not being fully explored yet, I would love to fully explore Tamriel before we go to Akavir and see all this crazy stuff that's been going on over there. Because, you know, a lot's been written about it. We know the player that we played as in Morrowind went over there and we never heard from him again. So there's a lot of stuff that we could, you know, be experiencing in these other continents. But I would much prefer to wrap up Tamriel, do everything in Tamriel, finish all these storylines, and then go over to Akavir. Keep the mystery there for a bit longer, you know. I know a lot of people are kind of going like, oh, I want to go over here, I want to go over there, but, you know, there's a lot to be explored still in Tamriel, and a lot of great stuff, which, you know, is exciting at the end of the day. And, you know, we're getting so many different cultures in Tamriel. I have not really got the urge to jump ship yet, get on a ship and go across. And I don't really understand why a lot of people do. I understand that people like the mystery and everything about over Akavir, and, you know, I'd like it to stay like that for the time being. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching the video, and thanks a lot for watching the series if you've done so. And, you know, if you want to check out any of the other ones where I talk in detail about what they could do if the game's set there, you know, why the game could be set there, what is the possibility of the game being set there, check out the individual provinces in the description, in the playlist on the Elder Scrolls 6 videos. You know, there's a lot of videos coming out there. Is this the end of Elder Scrolls 6 videos on the channel? Absolutely not. There's still going to be one every week where I discuss, you know, an idea when it comes to the Elder Scrolls and everything like that, and, you know, things like the Dwemer, should they be in the game, should the Elder Scrolls 6 be more story driven. There's a lot of stuff that I'll be doing with the Elder Scrolls 6 videos. Plus, as well, I'll be covering all sorts of fantasy stuff. If you love that on the channel, there's going to be Game of Thrones content, Lord of the Rings content, all of that's going to be continuing, which is exciting to see. So once again, thanks a lot for watching, and please like the video. And if you want to go a step further, please make sure you can donate in the description below in the Patreon and PayPal links. Any and all donations come straight back into the channel, not in my back pocket, as you can tell by me speaking into this brand new Blue Yeti microphone. And also, please make sure you follow me on Twitter at DagoraC. And also make sure you subscribe to keep track on all of my current videos and all videos that are coming up. Okay, so once again, thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.